ACORN has now lost its founder to a financial scandal, seen dozens of its workers charged with voter registration fraud, and had novice filmmakers expose certain ACORN affiliates as willing to help the most immoral of enterprises. As a result, ACORN has been banned from working on the next census. It's been stripped of at least some of its federal funding, and it could face more legal trouble ahead. Can the organization survive?
I first sat down with Wade Rathke for more than 2.5 hours in New York, but that was before the undercover tapes came to light. He agreed to give me a follow-up interview. This time we did it long distance. Wade was in New Orleans, I was in New York.
Since we last met, there have been some explosive undercover videos that have surfaced on ACORN showing what appears to be ACORN workers helping a man and a woman posing as a pimp and a prostitute with respect to advice on how to evade tax and other laws. Your reaction, Wade, to those tapes?
I haven't seen the tapes, but I have read about some of the activity. Clearly, what Lou Holtz, when I was in Arkansas, used to call the do-right rule has clearly been broken.
I mean, isn't it more than that? Isn't this a disgrace?
Well, it's definitely too painful for me to want to watch, but I'm sure that current management and leadership of ACORN have addressed this exhaustively at this point.
But how do you feel about it as the man who founded this organization and ran it for 38 years? I mean, do you see this as the product of a right-wing conspiracy, or do you see this as a problem of ACORN workers that ACORN needs to address?
Well, there's definitely some parts of this that I find very disturbing, particularly the amazing, unwarranted, I think, congressional attacks that, to me, seem to go very close to a sort of neo-McCarthyism.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I got the sense that there was sort of a mass dogpile of people trying to jump on these times when various individual workers had made errors doing whatever the sting might have been.
Wait, how can you make that assertion when you've got on these tapes a man and a woman going into an ACORN office, not just one, several, and posing as a pimp and a prostitute, asking for help to set up not just a brothel, which would be bad enough, but a brothel that would house underaged girls coming in from El Salvador, and you've got ACORN workers on the other side not expressing shock or disgust or calling the police, but saying, sure, how can I help?
Megan, there's a difference between the action, which is deplorable, and the reaction, which is equally indefensible. What I'm saying is, no, I have no defense for what the actions have been. There's no excuse for them. They are extremely painful for anyone who's even heard about them, as I have. We can't all of a sudden target organizations or individuals because we don't agree with them, or they're unpopular or unpopular, or become from a different sense of advocacy or political persuasion. That's not the America that we happen to live in.
So ACORN's the victim.
Anytime any organization or individual has its rights trampled on, we're all victims, Megan.
But Wade, with all due respect, you don't appear to get it. It is not just that several ACORN workers were caught on tape.
Megan, I don't have to get it. You can talk to current management, which is where you need to go to talk about this particular situation.
In fact, we did make multiple requests for current chief organizer Bertha Lewis to appear on this program. ACORN's response, quote, "Not a chance in hell."
We're joined today by ACORN's CEO, Bertha Lewis.
Lewis did appear with Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday. There, she admitted that she found problems after taking over in June of 2008, but she said she had addressed them.
Since I took over, I have overhauled the entire system.
Well, wait.
She also said she would appoint an outside auditor.
You say you overhauled the whole system.
Yes.
There are the videos, which have happened on your watch.
Those folks were terminated immediately. And what did I also do? Make sure that we have an independent review, make sure that we suspended any walk-in activities so we could review what worked, what didn't work. In instances, those folks were thrown out.
Lewis also took a shot at her predecessor, Wade Rathke.
I know that back last year, we were outraged that the board didn't know about the previous chief organizer's activities.
She said she has had to, and I quote, completely overhaul the finances and all the controls so that things would finally be, quote, above board. Why hadn't you done any of that when you were at the helm?
Well, I'm not going to get into some kind of play-by-play about what Bertha may have said and what she may find necessary to say these days. But the organization was always audited independently, had high controls, was vetted, continually.
The question of whether ACORN properly kept its books, appropriately trained and vetted employees, and fully complied with tax laws is an important one. But we wondered if an even more important question was whether ACORN's mission and tactics, developed over nearly 4 decades with Rathke at the helm, led to a sense of lawlessness that permeates this entire organization. Rathke resented even the suggestion.
And you're not gonna make me wear that shoe. I'm sorry, Megan.
In your book, you say that ACORN workers must aggressively exploit all federal aid programs, no matter what. And I see these workers on this video, and I see these people with these phony voter registration frauds, and I think they're taking a page out of Wade's book, aren't they?
Well, I think that's an interesting conclusion. So somehow you're trying to say that I have some responsibility for what's happening on these, scurrilous videos. You'll never find a sentence in my book that says somehow that there's anything whatsoever that we should do to support prostitution or whatever else.
Is this the end of ACORN?
I'm sure this is not a happy time within ACORN, but I have total conviction that the members will drive the organization to greater accomplishments in the future.
Whatever the future of ACORN, Rathke says his organizing days are far from over. Yes, he left ACORN in 2008, but he kept another position, chief organizer of ACORN International, which he's since renamed Community Organizations International. Rathke says it's completely separate from ACORN, but the idea is certainly the same. From Argentina to the Dominican Republic to Peru and India, seems the self-described dangerous man has gone global.
You know, Wade, the thought of you doing internationally what you've done here in America, it's going to worry a lot of people.
I'm just, as you said, I'm an organizer. This is what I know how to do. Luckily, as long as there are poor people who are desperate to change things that are in their lives that they haven't been able to change, there's going to be people who organize.
That's our program. Now it's your turn to tell us what you think. Send us an email at fncspecials@foxnews.com. And you can also watch dozens of Fox News documentaries online if you like. The address is www.hulu.com/Fox News Specials. I'm Megyn Kelly in New York. Thanks for watching.